Well, the time is just gone 9:42 a.m. as we continue with our broadcast this morning. And still to come on the show, we're talking about Nigeria, the reshuffling of the cabinet, the deepening cost of living crisis in Nigeria. And also, we'll be taking a look at October the 27th, observed as Kashmir Black Day. So, all of that still to come on the show before we end off this morning with news and views. But right now, we're going across to Nigerian based journalists. We're talking with Imam Nma Shuabe, joining us out of Nigeria. Imam, salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning from Nigeria.
Wonderful you're able to join us this morning, and let's talk about Nigeria. And there have been many problems in the past, and now we see one of the worst cost of living crisis in Nigeria, and the president of Nigeria firing cabinet ministers, appointing new ones. What is happening in your part of the world, Imam?
Okay. Thank you for having me this morning. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had a major cabinet reshuffled, whereby some ministers, about 5 ministers, were sacked, and some ministries were merged, and some ministers were redeployed from their ministries to other ministries, while few ministers were also brought on board, about 7 of them, and they were recommended by the president to be appointed as ministers for various ministries. So this is the current happening in Nigeria.
Now, just looking at Nigeria, this is a country that has got a lot of resources. It is an oil rich nation. And just to understand some of the dynamics that are playing out in Nigeria and why has Nigeria got to the stage where you are having these crises, and particularly with regard to the high cost of living?
Can you take that again?
Well, I think there is a bit of a delay because of the bandwidth or possibly the connection. I'm saying Nigeria is a very resource rich country, oil rich, and a country that one would expect to prosper. But again, it appears as if there is a crisis after crisis. And just to understand why, despite being so rich in resources, a major oil producing country in Africa, and yet there seems to be so many problems.
Okay, essentially, resources, like we used to say, are supposed to be blessings for every country that exists, because resources are the basis for development. Unfortunately, on this part of the world, Nigeria, we are blessed with vast resources, both human and material resources. However, these resources have not translated into positive life for the citizens. This is grossly as a result of mismanagement of resources, as a result of corruption. Corruption has become an endemic in the country, and resources are mismanaged. Individuals that are appointed into offices consider these resources an opportunity for them to enrich themselves through public resources. And the system is so bad that even corrupt individuals go scot-free after being, caught red-handed. We have seen cases where individuals were received corruption, they were taken to court, and of course, sanctioned for prison terms. And at the end of the day, they receive, state pardon. Sometimes they receive presidential pardon. even though they were caught, found to be guilty in the law court, and the necessary law is being meted on them, or punishment is being meted on them, but they receive state, pardon or presidential pardon. These and other factors are responsible for inhibiting development in the country, for ensuring that the resources are distributed evenly among the citizens.
Talking of the citizens, what is the general feeling on the ground? What are the people of Nigeria saying when they see all of this happening? When they see politicians, when you even see the president spending or approving millions of dollars, spending on himself and also for other top government officials. What are the people on the ground saying?
Of course, this since the assumption of office of the current administration, the citizens have been, subjected to a series of, difficulties from the removal of subsidy, which has an impact or multiplier effect on other sectors of the economy. This has led to increased rate of inflation, particularly food inflation. At the moment, inflation stands at 30%. Now, the citizens are subjected into difficulty. The cost of living is high, and people are struggling to survive. People are struggling to eat. People are struggling to afford their medical bills. In fact, people have been moved down the poverty line compared to where they were before the assumption of this administration. So people are worried. People are agitated. People are concerned about their well-living. And unfortunately, we have not seen a clear roadmap for a transition out of these difficulties, because there are lots of promises that the government have made by the time they remove this subsidy, and these promises are yet to see the light of the day. For instance, the administration promised that there will be CNG buses, compressed natural gas buses, so that the cost of transportation can be easy for people. Because if the cost of transportation is reduced or is low, or the multiplier effect will be that, okay, there will be other factors of production or other consumables or food stuff will be lower because the cost of transportation is low. But up till now, we are unable to see single CNG buses running the streets of Nigeria. So people are concerned, people are worried, and there is no a roadmap that people will see, or there is no political willingness on the part of the administration of President Ahmed Bola Ahmed Tinubu to show that there is commitment to their words. Actions do not match their words. Their promise that they will make things easier, we should be patient. In the last 1 year, but we have not seen any changes. So people are worried, people are agitated. And any attempt by civil society organizations or citizens to protest is, met with resistance from the security forces. Of course, we can remember the October 1st protest, about 20 people were shot, some were arrested, and so on. So any attempt by the citizens to ask for accountability, to hold the government accountable, is resisted, and of course security forces are used to arrest and harass citizens.
Yes, Imam Shuabe, we definitely will follow developments. We will follow what is happening in Nigeria. But for now, we thank you. We do appreciate you taking time out, talking to us right here on Salam Media this morning. All the best to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Imam Shoaib, Nigerian based journalist, with us this morning against what is playing out in Nigeria. The president firing cabinet ministers, appointing new ones, and while all of this is playing out, approving millions of dollars in spending for his presidential yacht, sports utility vehicles for his wife, top government officials, all of this playing out. And again, there is a lot of frustration that is building up in Nigeria, as is the case in many other countries around the world and also many countries in Africa. And South Africa, again, this is something, a lesson that we need to take as well, because there is definitely a lot of frustration here in South Africa, as well as particularly when it comes to the lack of action and when it comes to corruption within a government and also the private sector, sometimes collusion between the both. The time is just gone 9:52. We come back and we will end off this morning's broadcast looking at Kashmir Black Day, October the 27th.